if this is the way life is, uh, I was like, what is the meaning of my life? It cannot be so monotonous, and I could not see myself in that career for the rest of my life. So I think I asked myself, what is the meaning of my life? What is the purpose of my right now? I'm doing something so different. You can call it life coaching, you can call it energy work, you can call it healing, you can call it therapy.
Trailblazer Nithya.
Hi, Nithya.
Hi,
Very warm
Sukhdeepak.
welcome to you, and thank you for taking this on. I just want to say something about you before we begin. On my journey as a continuous learner, met with Nithya on my journey to becoming an Access Consciousness Facilitator. And I did one of her programs, and then I was so impressed with the way she delivers and, lights up everybody that whenever she announces any program, I'm definite to be there, definitely going to be there. So, Nithya, what I want to ask you is that, you have chosen not to tread the usual path, right? And I don't want to say too much about you. I think I'd rather have you say it. Okay. So, tell us a little bit about your journey. And what did you start off with in your career, and then you made the transition to what you're doing? Why did you make that transition? So let's start from there.
Okay. Thank you, Sukhdeepak. First, thank you so much for inviting me here, and it's my pleasure to be here. So, my career, I have an IT background. I've studied BTech, information technology, and I've worked in big companies like eBay and Microsoft. I've been a senior technical manager. That's what I was set out for. But I right now I'm doing something so different. You can call it life coaching, you can call it energy work, you can call it healing, you can call it therapy. So I do these kind of things. So I had a very good job and I was doing really well in my career. I'd grown very fast, but something within me was not happy, and I felt this can't be my life, just going to work, coming back home, taking care of your family. If this is the way life is, I was like, what is the meaning of my life? It cannot be so monotonous, and I could not see myself in that career for the rest of my life. I could not see myself just doing these things for the rest of my life. And so I think I asked myself, what is the meaning of my life? What is the purpose of my life? And that was posted to myself. It was a question deeply I asked myself with a lot of emotion, of hurt. And how much ever beautiful your life looks from the outside, where you have a job, you have success, you have money, you have growth. There's something within you that seems missing. So I felt was seriously missing on something. I was seriously missing on this nurturing energy, or this energy that someone is there for me or something is there for me. And that's when I asked, what is the purpose of my life? When you ask a question to the universe, it opens up a lot of things. And that time I didn't know that. I was asking the question without even knowing that I'll be changing my life just with the question. I did meet someone in my office. If that person had not come to my office, let's be very clear, I wouldn't have gone out and met anyone. But because they came to my office to do a tarot reading during one festival, I went and met her, and she said, "See, I can help you. I can help you get out of whatever you're going through. Will you come and meet me?" And I did. I did go and meet her, and that's how my whole life started shifting. She was a therapist, and she started giving me some affirmations. She said, "Let's balance your chakras." And these words were so new to me. I was so logical, never heard of these things before. And she said, "Nithya, you are intuitive. Your intuition is good." And I was like, what does that intuition even mean? I was like, what do you mean? I've never heard of that word before. And I don't think I'm good at anything. But then she was like, no, you're good. And then I started learning from her. So I started my journey with Reiki. I became a Reiki grandmaster. I learned hypnotherapy. I learned tarot. So I've, evolved. I just wanted to show it here that these are my decks that I've written. So I've learned so much about tarot that I'm able to write my own decks based on animal spirit guides, whom I love working with. And then I learned shamanism. I kept learning, and Unearth One Earth is my organization. Unearth means find. One Earth is about oneness on the planet. I discovered that we're all connected. and there's so much more to me. There's so much more to life on earth, and life on earth is actually beautiful. I used to think life on earth is a punishment, but I've changed my perspective to falling in love with the animals and the plants and everything on earth. Yeah.
So when you decided to make a transition from your corporate, so-called secure life, right? What was the reaction of your family?
So my son was too young to understand anything, and then my mom was like she was like, okay, even if the money is less, it should be fine. And she was talking to all her brothers and everyone, and they were like, yeah, I think what matters in life is that you're happy more than the money. They're all kind of decided I will make less money than what I'm making. And my cousins were like, why? But then they were like, maybe happiness is that important? And few people were, why can't you do both? So there wasn't a lot of resistance. I mean, I'm so grateful for that. My family is very supportive in many ways. They may not really understand what I do or try to get into what I do, but they've not opposed me as such, especially in my career and in what I want to do with my life. I've had some sort of freedom that way, and no one really stopped me when I said it. So I've been lucky that way. They were just like, we don't understand why money is not important for her anymore. Those that type of thinking.
I can resonate with that. So there's one thing, Nitya, see, the thing is that, when someone or our viewers, get to hear and listen to a person like you, what is very interesting is that, see, I've been on this journey. I think my journey has been quite similar to yours. I mean, I gave up a job in a multinational German company and I did something which nobody had heard of. But, this is not about me. But the journey is similar. Okay. Like we keep moving, learning, doing new things and all. So the question is that, look, we all have our ups and downs, right? And I think the maximum learning we get is from our downs or for our mistakes or whatever, or setbacks or so would you like to talk about those? Because on this kind of a journey, it's not always smooth sailing.
It isn't. It isn't at all.
So, there'll be a very big learning because see, I intend that there are people who watch, who sit on the fence, like they want to get out, they're fed up of it, they can't take the stress anymore. They cannot, one fellow said, I am a corporate slave. So I said, okay, then why don't you make a choice? And one fellow I met, say 20 years ago, he was working for Steel Authority of India. He made that choice and he's very happy with it. But we all went through these ups and downs, right? So it'll be useful people to know that, look, it's not necessarily smooth sailing, but you can deal with the downs also. So if you could share a little bit of that from your life.
Yeah, that's an amazing question. So let me start by saying, guys, whoever is watching this video, if you think you've made mistakes and you're hard on yourself, I'm sure you've not made as big mistakes or as many mistakes as me, and I still make mistakes. I've learned to laugh at my mistakes now. I think the biggest mistake was the biggest challenge. The biggest mistake was my relationship, and that's the reason when I had a career going and everything going, I still was not happy. And the biggest learning for me was, how do I respect myself? If I wanted my partner to respect me, I had to have that respect for myself. If I wanted someone to treat me well, was I treating myself well? The biggest learning for me was how are you placed internally? Are you calm inside? If I have a lot of insecurities, that I was extremely lonely. And so when you are extremely lonely and you get into the relationship, you and your partner become more lonely. So you have to have that sense of fulfillment from within, something called self love, something called knowing yourself and acknowledging yourself. So that's one thing I learned. And that's continuously a lesson, because even today, if I judge myself or I feel I've done something wrong, there will be someone to come and reflect that. They're like, I didn't like what you do. But the more I respect myself, the more I find people around me who value what I say, who's like, this being has something to offer me. And I can learn from my mistakes and stop judging my mistakes and keep going on. So I think the biggest lesson in my takeaway is I keep working on myself. It's not about anyone else at all. It's about what am I thinking, what am I being, and if there's anything in my life I want to change, it's me who has to change it, not the other person. So self introspection and the amount of there's no limit to the amount of how much you can love yourself unconditionally, how much you can be there for you, how much you don't need anyone else to acknowledge you or validate you. And when I don't need anyone to validate who I am and what I do, and I've been working in, when I was working in Microsoft, I moved into the space, and they're good people, very good people, but so logical. But energy speaks. So when I was there and I was like, I do like myself. I do love everything I do about myself. I do value myself. It sounded so new for everyone, and they did appreciate it. They appreciate it's a beautiful environment, and they appreciate a lot of things we do. But they also appreciate it when someone can truly be themselves. So I think the biggest lesson from all these downs is getting back to who you are. Are you truly being yourself? And what more you can be, because we're called human beings, right? We're not doings. So I think being is one of the lessons. And again, if I hit a down, there's something I have to learn to be, which I'm not. It's as simple as that. And
Mm.
it's fun learning that now. I
So
look forward
from
to learning.
what should I say, tarot and being a Reiki grandmaster, and then an access consciousness facilitator, and then talk to the entities facilitator, and then a shamanic guide and teacher with so many classes, and then you moved on to the next phase of your life. So can you tell us a little bit about your stint, and you still are access consciousness facilitator. Tell us about that, and tell us a little bit about this talk to the entity and what you did in shamanism and what came next. And after that came a next one. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that later. Let's talk about the beginning, access and so on.
Yeah, so access consciousness. I was, let's call it spiritual shopping, or I was shopping and learning everything to do with therapy or healing, and then access consciousness came into my space. When you're looking for something more, it's one of the most beautiful things on the planet. It's where I learned the power of asking questions, and the way the question I asked, how it changed my life, all became clear. And I fell in love with Access because it changed my financial reality like crazy. It made me feel that it's okay for me to love myself. And how much ever you hear love yourself, it's not that easy. And then you still get to judging yourself. So the more I've been with Access, the more I stop judging myself and I stop judging others. And it kind of gives you uh, the way to acknowledge your potency. I am powerful and I'm an infinite being. And that was so amazing. And I'm still with Access, still love Access. And entities is something I really love. Like, I was an introvert to the core, especially when I was working. Talking like this is a skill that I have learned. So if I can learn it, so can everyone. You are so multi-talented and you can do anything. And the biggest mistakes I have made. So if I've come out of it, I'm sure anyone can. So it kind of gave me that whole confidence to stand in my power, to be happy in life. Because the more happy I am, the more everything will fall in place. And more than people, I'm like little. Do I really like people? Not that much. I love animals, and then I love entities. Entities are, beings without bodies. So they're so much easier to deal with someone who's physical. This is my point of view. You don't have to, buy it or align with it. If that's not your point of view, it's perfectly fine, because everyone has different perspectives. But I love working with spirits, beings without bodies, and listening to them. And it's one of my gifts, where if you see, shamanism also is working with animal spirit guides like wolves. And my latest is working with Buddha. So I've written this Buddha being oracle deck. And Buddha is also, right now, he's not physically there. He was there once on earth. So I like to work with these energies, these consciousnesses which don't have a body but are very much there. And what are they whispering to us? Unearth One Earth is a spirit school of evolution. It is built on top of, whether you call it spirit of the
That's
earth.
your new. That's another organization that you began.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay,
Unearth
so
One
let's
Earth.
talk about a little bit about what made you start writing books, and how many books have you written?
Yeah,
And of course, most of them I have, but and this One Earth which you started also, let's
yes,
hear about that. That's the future, right? That's not what you're creating.
yes, yes.
Okay, so let's hear about that.
So, in the form of books, I've written. I think this year, officially, it'll be numbers. We're going to become 7 next month. So I've written a lot of self-help books. All of them bring you back to earth. A Place Called Home, my first book, makes you, it's an invitation to fall in love with yourself and earth. All my books are based on earth sciences. My second book, Communion Symbols, is a modality by itself. It can heal so many things out of your life, and you can literally get the energy of the sun in your hands. You can get the energy of the rain in your hands. Name it, that energy is with you, within you. It comes alive because of your hands, and you use it to get rid of your pains, get rid of disease, and then be more happier, add color to your life. So many ways in which you can play with that book. It's more of a reference book, but it's so amazing. And then my Walking with Wolf and Walking with Wolves, these books are so much based on shamanism, animal spirit guides, around 100 animals, what you can learn from them. But these are written in a way that it'll reprogram your subconscious when you do this. So you see a lot of changes. They're not just books to read, they're experiences to bring change in your life. And in this book, I've written something called a spirit chant. And spirit chants is one modality by itself. When you use it, you can literally reprogram your subconscious. And if you know anything about your subconscious, it's so much powerful. And once you change the programming of your subconscious, your whole life does change. And then my this year, 3 oracle decks. So I think I've shown them. Let me show them. So two are based on animal guides, one is based on Lord Buddha. These are all available on Amazon or will be available in a few days. And that journey, what inspired me to write is, I have so much knowledge, so much information. And whenever I hit those lows, as you were saying, whenever I have challenges, I think the way I kind of outlet them is I start writing. I just go back to being with myself. And writing is such a beautiful way of just connecting with yourself. You don't need anyone else to be there. And then I love connecting with spirits, so I talk with the wolf or the lion or animal spirit guides, or whether it's Buddha. So I love connecting with them and write what they give me. I think that's the way it reaches out to more people. I think books are, anyone who writes books, authors, are to be appreciated because they are gifting you their knowledge. It's definitely not for the profits. It's more for, we need to get the information out there. And what if it helps? It will help so many people. Are you willing to receive that information? And on Unearth One Earth, Unearth means find, One Earth is oneness on this planet. So we want people to find who you are, what the planet is about, what oneness is about, much more of what you can be. And it's a spirit school of evolution. All our classes are oriented at you evolving, not a better version of yourself, not just a better version, something so different. Evolution is a seed becoming a plant, monkeys, evolving from where they were to humans. So, would you like to become that much the best of who you are? Would you like to learn, grow? That is what evolution is. So, everything we do is evolving day by day. And so the modalities also I've invented this year, B4 formats, B4
Yeah,
sculpting.
I'm going to ask you about that. But before
Okay.
that, I have a question for you, Nithya. Who is the Nithya that nobody knows?
Nobody knows. I don't know. I think I'm pretty much open and authentic. I I'm a mother too, so I do have a son, but a lot of people know that. That's very interesting question. I think what nobody might know, people don't know, is the same thing. I am very strong, and I really appreciate how strong I am. But there are times when, you hit your own lows, and there are times when I do go there. But I may not show that to anyone. I mean, no one might even know that I'm going through something right now, because I would use all the tools, all the modalities that I know, and I don't believe in bleeding on anyone. So I think that's it. So if you look at me and you're like, she has everything, she's so amazing, everything's going well for her. I do have few points of views, few things I'm working on at any given time. So that's what people may not know about me.
Yeah, that's the human side of all of us, no?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about this, what's happening now and what is going to happen in the future as far as what can we expect from Nithya?
Um, what's happening now is I am creating. I think I'm in a super creation mode. So I've created new classes called B4 is blood, body, being, and bones. B4 sculpting, which you were there and you've given me such an amazing feedback about it.
Yes, I
Where,
loved it.
Thank you. Where with just your hands and communion symbols is an evolution of my communion symbols book. We're changing body shapes and sizes like never before. In 20 minutes, your tummy goes off, we straighten your back, we make your body look different, and that's the minimum you get. Disease are changing like crazy. We've corrected disease with before sculpting. With before formats, we're changing the way you think. We are making you more space, and you get into a zone where your creativity is at its best. So we want to get people towards being, and these classes have just started, they're so new. So in the future I'm looking to spread all this all over the world. And I think the future, what I really am looking to create, and this has to be a joint vision, is just for most of all of the animals to be so peaceful on our planet. We don't go and take their space. They have so much space, we have so much space. All the planet is treated, all species are treated with so much respect, because we require the other species, they don't require us. We require earth, earth doesn't require us. So it's just for a beautiful earth. And so many people letting go of their insecurities. I keep wondering how the planet would be if everyone was conscious. If everyone was the best of themselves, if no one had to be insecure, if no one had to worry about money, if everyone knew how powerful they were, how would the planet be, right, Sukhdeepak? Very
Wonderful, wonderful.
beautiful reality.
And when I set out on my journey, I was completely, it became my vision. It was a part of another vision, which was a world that works for everybody, you know.
Exactly.
But I never imagined at that time when I was talking about a world that worked for everybody, I was thinking more about people. I'd never considered animals. Right? If a
Animals
world that works for everybody includes the animals and the
yes,
plants and the trees and the fishes and everything.
and the insects and every living being.
So what's next in your journey?
What is next in my journey is more books coming up. This year I started, I'm, Unearth, One Earth, we are pioneers in shamanism. I have so many facilitators who spread this work. And we've been working with animal medicine. I've written so many books on animals. Plants are the next. What does plant medicine have to teach us? Plants are, so patient. They just stay in one place and they're still being themselves, and they're super sensitive. Plants have more pain when you kill them. Even when you pluck a fruit, it pains more for the plant than an animal. They are so sensitive, they are so beautiful, they are so nurturing. And I think for the first time, uh, if people you can, if you wish to, you can truly perceive what the earth is going through. So I deeply choose to connect with Mother Earth and receive from her the touch of nurturing. I think the only thing that can give you that is the planet. You might have got it from your own mother, but the touch of your planet is something else. The way earth touches you, the way earth nurtures you. So I'm experimenting. I Most of my work is experiments, and they mostly work. So I experiment for a month, and then it becomes a class. So it's about how deeply can you allow the planet to touch you? How can you contribute to the planet? How can the plants guide us to go beyond where we are today? And how you get into that sensitive, empathetic version of you, but that doesn't hurt yourself. So that's what I'm trying to that's what I've been experimenting with for the last 4 months, and it's super crazy. I think I've shifted these 4 months more than anything I've ever shifted before, because I think I'm more feminine now, because I was always like, I'm the man, I take care of everything. That's completely gone. And I think there is a definite beauty to feminine energy. There's a definite beauty to receiving from this planet. So these are the things that are upcoming next. I don't know how they're going to show up, but if you like the energy, this is what's coming up next.
Okay, so you and I have both. I mean, I have been in the corporate world. I train more people from the corporate world. I am into access and other modalities also, including being a Reiki master 30 years ago. You know, and one thing when I work with corporate people, what one sees is that there is often a trade-off between well-being and producing results. I mean, they're driven. Achievement motivation is very high, and I'm not against it. So I'm trying to bring a balance between producing results and preserving your well-being and happiness also, right? So what would you say to a corporate person as to how they can benefit by being open to receive modalities, energy modalities, or what you are offering?
Yeah,
Because you've been in the corporate world yourself. So,
yeah, that's an amazing question. So when corporate people are a little logical, so and I can answer it so that it connects with them. So I think all of us know we have a subconscious mind, and there are enough books that tell you your subconscious mind is powerful. So corporate works on deadlines, right? Pressure and deadlines, and that's also there because I was asking when I was in corporate, like, why do we have to have these deadlines? Can't you just trust us to finish the work in the best time we deliver? And I said the human mind is such that if you don't have a deadline, you just lays out and then you don't get it done. But the minute you have a deadline, and I've seen that because when we have a deadline, 3 months later, nothing would move for the first 2 months. The last month, everything falls in place. The last week, it's like crazy the amount of work that's getting done. And sometimes on the last day, we pull it off. And what we pull off in the last day, we couldn't have done it 3 months back. So I was looking at this, what is this? You had 3 months of time, you didn't do anything, but just before the deadline, you made everything fall in place. And I'm sure everyone will connect with this. When you have
yeah.
deadlines,
And
you do.
mistakes also happen sometimes because of
Yeah.
that.
But then so they treat you like a pressure cooker with those deadlines. But that pressure made your subconscious come out, especially when you went to a do or die. If I don't get it out on this date, your subconscious took over, and that's why everything fell in place. So what if you're so calm? What if you're relaxed? What if you are so creative? When you are in that energy, your subconscious is working for you from day one. So that's what I'm propagating to people in corporate. Work with
Without the stress which
without the
is there.
stress. Your subconscious can come out when you're extremely stressed and get you out of the situation, but that is not the greatest thing for your body because your body takes a hit with the way your hormones are changing even if your work gets done. And your subconscious can come out when you're so relaxed and happy and peaceful, and you can be super creative. How do you get there? I've invented before formats. It's just 20 minutes, amazing processes which will enable you to relax and think so creatively. Meditation is the other way. Pranayama, there are so many different ways for you to get there. So why don't you just try to relax and see where you're going and how your deadlines work out? Instead of being stressed, you will get deadlines even faster and better, and it will also make your body, somewhere it'll give back to your body is going to recover. So this is what I've been showing people. Like, I have those images, where you show you're stressed and then you get work done and you're cool, and you get work done, and how your brain functions when you're cool. So I think it's all in the thinking, and letting go of that basic insecurity, whether you're in corporate, whether your job, you think you're dependent on your job. It's not true. You're much more than your job, and you are contributing to your job as they're contributing to you. So you have the right to be happy at your job. And that's what, when I was working the last 2 years, I was very happy with my job. It's just that at one point I felt I should do something different, and when I felt I was not happy enough is when I chose to quit also. But there is definitely a possibility where you can be extremely happy, do really well, and do even better than what you think. And that's what I'm coaching people who come to me about, how you can handle both. And there's nothing called work life balance, is what I discovered, because people are like, let me break the work life balance. I have well being, I have a balance with my life. I was like, enjoy your work, enjoy your life, because work is 70% of your life or 80% of your life. So it's like, make it so
76% of
enjoyable.
your
Sorry?
76% of your life, I believe.
Acha, okay. So make it enjoyable, and when you enjoy your work, there's no stress. Like what you do, and we have enough tools to tell you how you can actually like what you do. So I think
Great,
that would.
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Nitya. So any last words before we close the interview?
Yeah, thank you, Sukhdeepak. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm so inspired by you, where you continuously want to learn at being so young. You are so young at heart, and I've seen that when I've interacted with him. So he's one of these amazing people who just wants to learn, and I think that's an amazing thing. Life is there where you keep learning, you keep evolving. Doesn't matter where you are in life, doesn't matter when you start, or doesn't matter how old you are. It's just about learning. And so and I think nature is one of the best thing that can inspire you. look at every animal and there's something to learn from them. I look at every person, there's something to learn from them. So maybe this process of continuously evolving is what drives me. I hope it inspires any of you who's watching this to do the same.
Drives me too. So thank you very much, Nithya, for taking out the time. And so many people are going to be contributed to by
Thank,
your efforts in this world. I think you're a gift to the planet and a gift to all of us. God bless you and have all the best from everybody in your life. Thank you so much.
thank
Bye
you
bye.
so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.